Boys, Blizzard listened. They did. They listened to the feedback. Blizzard has responded to the scathing Legion remix criticism, and scathing it was. People were pissed off about bronze costs, the leveling pace, the difficulty, all of it. I mean, in reality, all really Blizzard had to do was take the Mists of Pandaria remix skin and just paint over Legion on it. But they didn't do that. They changed a lot of stuff about this thing, and the changes pissed people off. So we're going to look at this, all the changes Blizzard are putting in for Legion Remix before it goes live, thanks to your angry feedback. Let's check this one out from Bellular.
Welcome back to the WoW News. Today, it's spicy, but it is going to end well. So, we've got the fun story of Blizzard almost destroying Legion Remix. Almost. We hope. There are big changes coming. But then, even more insane midnight reveals that Blizzard really should have told us about. And finally, for once, some really good impressions about the game as a whole. So, that said, let's get stuck in. If you haven't been paying close attention, you may not know that Legion Remix was almost a very close call. Essentially, Blizzard kind of almost torpedoed it, and here's how it all went down. PTR testers hopped on, they were super excited to give it a spin, and right away, it looked amazing. It had tons of content and even custom new voiced quests to connect it all together.
Wow.
And at a glance...
This is actually, I'm excited to do this version of Remix because Legion in and of itself had so much good transmog, and they've added a lot of really good stuff into Legion Remix. In terms of transmog. I mean, the Scythe alone, I'm a Death Knight. I need the Scythe. I do. I need it. I'm going to go get it for sure. So I'm going to actually probably do Legion Remix.
Everything was good.
I don't give a shit about having an alt. I'm not going to have an alt, but I want to do it for the transmog and the mounts and everything.
Video, we said it felt like they'd given it a lot more love, that it felt like a real patch worth of content. But that's actually where some of the problems started. You see, over the next 2 weeks, as testing continued, some mistakes began to become obvious. Now, this was good. It's what the PTR is actually for. And what it generated was PTR players drafting huge posts detailing all of their complaints, and those posts then taking off. Now, the biggest one was by Mantid9 over on Reddit. It's a huge breakdown, and I'll just skip to his conclusion. Quote, "They time-gated everything, made the event feel like retail, and kneecapped the infinite scaling to the point where it might as well barely even exist."
Damn.
His final line is real scathing. "I was looking forward to playing Legion Remix, but instead it feels like I'm playing retail with a bronze vendor."
Oh, God.
Sadly, it's not just him. Looking across the internet, people largely did feel the same. Some basic...
Yeah, so Blizzard clearly missed the memo here before. They're going to make the changes, hopefully, but they missed the memo about what was fun about Remix, and that was just going God mode. I mean, watching people do stupid things, with stupidly overpowered, crazy abilities, and leveling up really quick, and getting transmog in the meantime, right? You're just doing all that stuff. It's all at once. Nobody wants to re-level in any sort of difficult manner through a remix version of the game. Nobody does. So that was a mistake, and I'm sure they're going to fix it. They just got to tone it down. We want to go God mode. That's the reason why you're playing Remix, plus the transmog and everything else.
Call it more Legion Season of Discovery than Legion Remix.
Oh, God.
That seems like a lot. So what actually went wrong? I'll explain. Blizzard didn't seem to get what the real draw of Mop Remix was for some players. Basically, we loved it because it was goddamn broken. Legion Remix, unfortunately, is not goddamn broken. Or should I say was. Stats were hamstrung to reasonable levels. Leveling actually took more time. Gear felt random and boring. The artifact weaponry is fun to play with, but it doesn't scale up fast enough and high enough. You wouldn't be doing crazy things like nuking dungeons and raids in seconds. And I won't bore you on any more of the details, so basically, here's the vibes. Mop Remix was like the last day of school. Everyone understood it didn't matter, the rules didn't matter, and yeah, you brought your Game Boy or Nintendo DS in, teachers put on a VHS or maybe a digital video disc and went for a big smoke break. Yeah, so you're in school, but there's no rules. That felt amazing, and that's what Mop Remix captured.
I remember we used to go down the hallway, the big stairway at the end, and throw all of our binders, rip all the papers out, and just throw them. It was just raining paper everywhere. Extremely dangerous because people were falling all over the stairs, tripping over papers and stuff. But yeah, last day of school was a good time. And so was Remix. So yeah, Remix is supposed to feel broken. It's supposed to feel janky. It's supposed to feel like a arcade version of the game, basically. So anything that feels like proper WoW in a Remix is being done wrong, for sure.
Legion Remix, though, was kind of like a school-mandated fun day. where it's still not real school, but the teacher is over your shoulder making sure you're having fun the proper way.
Oh, God.
Essentially, it was more prescriptive and was a disappointment. Basically, it was almost as if Blizzard misunderstood what the fun was. And here's where the good news comes in.
You're right, Codicia. I didn't play Mop Remix. You're saying, how would you know you didn't play Mop Remix? But no, but I didn't. But I saw a lot of clips and videos on YouTube of people who were playing it, and it was just broken. People going into raids, pulling entire freaking half the raid at once and destroying it. I mean, it was fun to watch. So yeah, it was clearly broken. I could tell. And watching people do stupid things was part of the fun of the whole event.
The feedback has been heard loud and clear, so they're making sweeping changes to it. They've announced an extra round of testing with some fairly major improvements, which boil down to more speed, more power, and more fun. We don't know what that means specifically, but it does sound like exactly what the feature needed. So here's hoping they know how far they actually need to go with that, because otherwise, all their genuinely good work on it would have been wasted. Perhaps it's the case that the innovations and things they were doing to the open world with Legion Remix initially almost felt like more of a test of what retail WoWs like open world endgame could be, and in that context lots of it looked like a major bit of forward progression, but it wasn't the
for
last
retail, yeah.
And that's what a lot of people really wanted, a big blast before midnight starts. More than anything, though, one particular developer has been consistently active in responding to feedback in Discord, and that has been quite heartening to me. So we know the concern has been heard. I think that's never a bad sign. It's good when devs feel able to communicate. So hopefully, within the next week or two, we'll be able to tell you how the testing has went. Till then, though, we need to talk about Midnight. How does Simplified Professions sound to you? And I think we've talked about how scuffed the Midnight reveal has been to death, but there's still info coming out, and one of the new bits of info is Professions.
Is this the level, the rank system?
In the Avatel video, he just casually said that they are, quote, greatly simplifying Professions. And what they're doing is at least...
Yeah, I think he's talking about the fact that they're getting rid of all the ranking tiers of the craft orders shit. So you're only going to have like the 2 final ranks that basically everybody creates already anyways.
At least removing the bronze and silver quality ranks.
The quality ranks,
I do assume they're going to be doing more than that, because it's been an open secret that Professions are, to many players, a complicated
Pre-watch? No, I already knew this. I mean, I this is all I do. I look at the WoW news all the time. I'm a degen. What do you think I am? Come on.
Nightmare. I kind of like what Blizzard was shooting for.
Also, I think we watched that Taliesin
WoW
video.
Isn't the game for that particular system in the way that they made it. Anyway, overall, I would say this is good news. But it turns out he only found out about this because of a casual conversation he had with a developer. So basically, if that didn't happen to come up in that conversation, we would have no idea, which is wild. And given the wide response, I expect a WoWcast or a series of posts next week. That's because Blizzard know it did not go well. Internally, they're probably scrambling. My impression is they know that. Taliesin and Avatel's impression was also that they know that, and that the actual developers on the show floor also knew that the reveal had been basically...
Yeah, Ian apologized. Like during it was like the second day of Gamescom, he apologized and said, like, we're trying to get stuff out. Please bear with us. All that we know that it hasn't been perfect. I think they need that for sure. I thought that's what they were going to do, honestly. When they revealed the cinematic, I thought for sure we were going to get some like a WoWcast posted on, like pre-recorded, posted on Blizzard's site just an hour later or something. You guys remember that? Like I kept saying, oh, we were live that day. And I was like, oh, I think we're going to get a WoWcast in an hour or something on Blizzard's YouTube channel. And we never did. And instead, what we ended up getting was a bunch of live stream stuff that wasn't ever live streamed. Like they were announcing stuff at BlizzCon and then editing it and then posting it on their channel and YouTube Shorts and stuff. It was like a horrible way to get expansion release information. So I think they still owe us that WoWcast. Hopefully they'll give it to us. Just give us that roundtable where everybody talks about the expansion like they usually do. That'll be perfect, and everyone will be happy.
Scuffed. Now, there are some other little tidbits slipping out as well, and they're pretty interesting. One is a hard confirmation that houses can be different styles in the same neighborhood. So, if you want an orcish house in your Alliance neighborhood, yeah, that's perfectly fine. You can do that.
And here's one thing about that, though. Do you think there's going to be neighborhoods where that's not allowed? Like, you can make that a rule? Because I could imagine people getting, like, especially, like, RPers. You can imagine, like, oh, they want a human-looking neighborhood, and then a fucking orc moves in next door. Like, oh, God, here come the orcs. Coming to ruin this good neighborhood. Yeah, some some interesting plays on real life in there going on too. But yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like people might get mad about this on these really intense RP servers because it does kind of ruin the RP-ness of it, right? You got all these human homes in a nice, cute Elwyn Forest neighborhood, decorated up and everything, and then you got this orc hut like in the middle of the neighborhood. Yeah, it's gonna piss people off on those servers at least.
You can do that. Now, sadly, some pretty massive questions went completely unasked. As an example, crests and
Having an
power
HO
stones.
game. Yeah,
What's
that's
going
what I
on
mean.
there, guys? That's another system that works, but has gotten both complicated and restrictive. As an example, as heroic raiders, me and most of my guild are capped on ruined crests almost instantly on reset, and we've got no way to progress our characters without then doing Mythic Plus. And it feels bad when you're capped in crests, doing content, but, not getting any crests for the content that you're doing. But for the last while, we know that Ian has wanted to simplify this system. They probably had something to tell us about that, because we know it's something they want to do. It's just that nobody asked about that at Gamescom, which means we quite simply don't know. So hopefully we get some blogs soon.
Great.
Okay, the next news is...
I just wanted to simplify the crest naming system. That's it. I don't need a gilded Johnny Boy, erect crest, heroic, whatever. I don't understand. I still don't understand the names. I just look at the colors. I told you guys, I just look at the, I'm like, the red crest. That's the one I want. I don't know what it's called. Heroic exemplified, extreme empowered crest. Whatever the name is, I don't get it anymore. And I haven't followed it now for I think 2 expansions maybe. Maybe mid Dragonflight I lost track of what the hell crests were. They released them in Dragonflight, and then halfway through I was like, oh, I'm lost. I don't get the naming scheme anymore. So just give me heroic crest, mythic crest. Just keep it that way. And then you put a little seasonal tag on them. Like season 3, season 2, just put that on them, and then we'll know what they are. You don't got to rename them for every season.
Huge, but it will feel important to loads of you. So, the Spanish site Alter Time learned a whole bunch more about the story and about Silvermoon. The Alliance-friendly bit will be the currently destroyed part, and the original...
Another Death
Nocturne, thank you for the sub, man. Death Knight of our Scourge.
Will be the Horde-only side. I think that's fairly cool. And the faction split is going to be part of the story. Basically, the fact that Alliance Paladins show up and act like they own the place is going to be a problem. Maria said there'll be increasing frictions as time goes by between the factions. So there you have it. We actually are going to have some faction storytelling. Thank God.
There's going to be a faction conflict. And I told you guys I was going to do this already, so I'm calling this from now, and I've said it before. I am making a full-blown Alliance raid on stream, and I'm going to push deep into Silvermoon with it. I don't give a shit where the area is that's supposed to be Horde only. There will be no Horde only area as long as I'm online. So I'm going to do a 40-man raid, penetrating into the Horde parts of Silvermoon, and we're going to wreck everything. That's the plan. They shouldn't have invited us in if they didn't want us to do it. I'm going to do it. So there's actually a storyline behind this, too. That's pretty cool. So there will be faction conflict in Silvermoon.
Really, we've just been missing good faction stuff. Now, another slice of the story that we've been worried about is the Light. We haven't had the story itself show us Light as being sort of potentially bad or misused in a long time in a big way. But actually, that's going to change, and I think this is really cool. Harandar's story is going to be about how the Light found a foothold there and is actually causing problems with nature. We'll also learn some ancient Azerothian history down there, and they also managed to find out how the expansion starts. It wasn't just...
It would make sense that the Light has a problem with nature, because the Light is very orderly. Everything is organized and perfect, and nature is very disorderly. I mean, that's the reason basically why Amenthul ripped the freaking tree of life out of the planet, right? The whole story of Amenthul ripping the tree out and all that shit. Yeah, because he felt like it was disorderly. He didn't like that. It's too wild for him.
Bunch of paladins that the Sunwell summoned. The expansion actually starts with, well, us showing up to answer the call alongside a very unexpected creature. Okay, Alter Time had a second interview as well, but the only huge thing to come out of that one was that they currently have no plans for a third round of Plunderstorm. And that does mean that you can find me in the nearest cupboard crying. I really don't like it. But even I'll admit that Plunderstorm Round 2 did feel quite undercooked. and I know that it wasn't the most popular thing with you guys. So
I like Plunderstorm. I just said it on was it last Friday that I had a Plunderstorm itch, that I kind of wish Plunderstorm was a thing right now so I can get in and play around real quick. I miss Plunderstorm. Damn it, bring it back, Blizzard. Make it a thing. Make it a thing.
fair enough, willing to let it die. At least they got memories. But with that said, let's move on to some really good news. The good news is this: Blizzard's Encounter team are getting really damn good at their jobs. A little bit of context, my guild is now 6 out of 8 in Heroic. We've been having a great time going in, blind with almost no add-ons. I'm actually playing with 0 add-ons other than the ones that allow my console sort of gamepad experiment to go. I essentially started with one button and I've been building my way out to playing, I suppose, a bit more properly, not just using the one button thingy. Now, at the same time, the race to World First is also being quite seriously called the best race of all time. And the clearest way
it's
to
been a fun raid
is this tweet from JB. It really was that precise. They managed to just make it feel absolutely perfect. The race was neck and neck for hours on end. Now, some Giga Mythic Sweatlords maybe don't matter to you. That's totally cool. But I want you to think of it this way. The race was extremely hype, and that drew a ton of eyeballs. It drew eyeballs to Dimensius, which is one of the best fights the game has
It's a great
ever
fight.
had. If you really...
I like the Dimensius fight. I do. I think it's fun. I think it's the phase changes are cool, and it's a good length too. Like for final boss fights, you remember we've had fights like Sylvanas, right, in Sanctum of Domination, where it felt like that thing had like 5 phases, and each phase was like 10 minutes. That felt like a 40-minute fight. And when you died in final phase because you weren't soaking up the little things correctly, moving them out of the way as tanks, it felt bad, man. The Dimensius fight, though, is not too long at all. I feel like it's fun. It's just like the perfect length of a boss fight and the perfect amount of difficulty. Like, once you understand the mechanics, you just get it done. You just need to make sure that everyone's doing it properly. So, yeah, I think it's been a very fun fight to do.
Deeply appreciate the Encounter game mechanics. Yes, there's a lot there. But if you're just a casual fan, fair weather fan, and you just see the sheer spectacle, the grandeur of that fight, the music, you're going to think, wow is actually doing something that kind of slaps. And that's important. If you were there during the Shadowlands era, you would know that the vibes are super important. And I'd say that with most of this patch, the vibes have actually been great. Ian himself even showed up to the Echo stream and had a mini interview live. It's pretty cool. People there were saying that he just seemed really excited by it all, and he was even getting a bit distracted mid-conversation by watching the pulls. So seeing your game director get distracted in an interview because he's invested
they
in
all died while he was doing the interview.
Is damn good PR. The best PR that you can have, because it's natural. It's the sort of thing that you can't book on a calendar. Now, don't get me wrong, 11.2 is not perfect. Ecological Succession is not getting great reviews, to put it lightly. The world content does seem surprisingly sparse this time around, and we've definitely got...
I'm not going to lie, I haven't even started this quest chain. I have it. I have the start of Ecological Succession, but I don't care to do it. I mean, Blizzard has to realize something. The next expansion's just around the corner. I don't feel like doing any grinds right now in The War Within. I'm grinded out. I'm done with the grinds for this expansion. There is no real player power attached to this, so I just don't care to do it. And I'm not saying they should attach player power to it. I'm just saying easy with the end of expansion grinds, because most likely nobody's going to be motivated enough to do any sort of grind at the end of an expansion. It just feels like so pointless. I don't know, like a waste of my time. So that's why you wouldn't like doing the Ecodome stuff. I don't think I would, and I don't want to, so I'm not doing it. That's it. I've kind of left that quest line. There's a shield waiting for me to continue in this thing, and I just haven't done it. And I don't think I'm ever going to do it.
A few little complaints about how the story ended, but as a whole, there's a good energy going into Midnight, and the reason why I'm excited for Midnight
K1.
in a way that doesn't depend on a big, shiny, new, exciting, game-changing, massive reveal feature is quite simply because I've enjoyed playing the content a lot. So just getting more content in a bunch of zones that I really care about is kind of enough to really make me excited. So I think when Alpha lands and people see all the new stuff in action, I think then we'll get more excitement and we'll start to undo the damage from the scuffed reveal. Especially, by the way, with all of the UI changes Blizzard are making. And if you want to learn all about those, and trust me, you do, go check out this video next, because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, overall, I mean, maybe, I guess to take it on a positive note, maybe I don't want to do the Ecodome stuff because I'm having fun doing everything else. I'm enjoying the raid. I've enjoyed the delves, even the Mythic Plus stuff. I've been enjoying a lot of the patch so far, so I just don't want to go do the Ecodome stuff, and I don't see any reason to do it, so I'm not going to. Overall, though, good stuff, and good to hear that Blizzard is going to listen to the feedback on Legion Remix. That's a big one, and hopefully they continue to iterate on it before it comes out, so it's actually something fun to play through when it finally does. Nice video from Bellular.